Hello, friends. Welcome to Talkative Anjali, and I'm here to tell you a story today. It's a sunny afternoon, and I'm sitting out in my balcony, and I thought, why not narrate to you a lovely folklore told by my grand aunt, Motiaji. The name of the folklore is The Legend of Two Husbands. So, before I tell you the story, let me also tell you a few reference words that you will need to know. Galbat means a trawler or a boat. Then Dhela is JT. And Saubhagya is well being. So, let's begin the exciting story. The Legend of Two Husbands. Gomu was married to Bandu, as was the tradition of in those days, at the age of 10 or 12. Bandu himself was just 15 years old. Who in the world noted birth that time? Mothers told the child was born at sunrise, when the sun was high in the sky, or sunset, or when the evening lamps were lit. This story is of those times. Motiaji, our favorite grand aunt, one or the other of us trying to keep our head in her lap as we lay on the OT of our old home watching the night sky. That was quarter century ago. She wore bangles only in one hand. We wanted to know why. Many years ago, she continued, Gomu and Bandu lived happily. They played together, ate together, and at bedtime, Gomu's mother-in-law always put her to sleep next to her. She was too young to be Bandu's bride yet. But Moti, you just said they were married. All smart kids correct her. Shh, that was the custom in those days, even before Grandpa. Shoo! Then Bandu grew to be a handsome man of 18, and Gomu was about 13 or 15. Their elders celebrated a puja and gifted them a room of their own. Bandu and Gomu now had grown to understand their responsibilities and the meaning of husband and wife in the real sense. They took care of all visitors, relatives, and servants. Bandu was highly skilled at sea. He had a toned dark body. Then, when he was free, he participated in kushti competitions in the village and won many times. He was loved by all for his helping nature. Gomu too looked very pretty now. She dressed carefully, her chori tight-fitted, the padar carefully wrapped with the large motifs in the front like an apron. The fresh flowers in her hair sent Bandu's heart racing. Her morning began with getting the rotis made for the dolkars, that is the crew, and supervising the washerwoman and water carriers. At her young age, she was admired by all for managing the household so wonderfully. When the morning chores were done, she would escape to the back door as she would hear Bandu wish his mother goodbye and leave through the front door. She would catch up with him at the seashore. That was her only private time with him. She would lay her head on his broad shoulder, and as they walked together, their bodies brushing against each other just lightly, Bandu would tell her how he dived deep into the sea to repair the emergency problems with the Galbat. He told her about the deep sea monsters that pulled his legs and sucked him deeper. Motiaji, but Baba tells us that is due to water pressure on the person diving deep sea without mask and oxygen. There were no ghosts in the sea, enlightened my cousin, with her little palm pointing out at Motiaji. Baba knows better, she said. He works in the navy. Faking anger for interrupting her, Moti said, Do you want to hear more? That day, Gomu went to see Bandu off at sea. Her heart was heavy, and she was not ready to let him go. Bandu promised he would return soon. The 2 days to follow were of violent weather. Little did he know that the next 2 days would change his life. The tides rose high, and there were showers too. The monsoon sea was yet far. On the second day, when Bandu was to return, Gomu ran to the Dela before the boats pulled in. Gomu could not spot theirs. She inquired with everyone like a woman gone crazy. None of the crew had been spotted anywhere. No one even seemed to have noticed that their Galbat was missing. The weather had been so bad in the last 2 days that the men were all beaten by it. After checking with all, Gomu was told that their Galbat seemed to have lost the way. Gomu thought, yes, that is what people tell when you have lost your husband and the crew along with the Galbat. She sat at the seashore crying as her mind was crisscrossed with dangerous thoughts. All the villagers tried consoling her, but in vain. She pledged to fast and do a penance. Untying her hair, she said to the sea god, if you get my husband along with my crew safely back to the shore, I will accept you as my husband. After 3 days and 3 nights, Gomu was frail and lay in the lap of her mother-in-law. She had neither eaten nor had a single drop of water. Such was her penance. At the crack of dawn on the horizon, one of the villagers noticed a Galbat bobbing slowly towards the Dela. The colors of the flag were of Bandu's Galbat. The seashore was dotted with clothes thrown up in the sky and cheers along with Har Har Mahadev and Jai Mallar. The Galbat boat had been washed off to Karanja, about 80 kilometers from Thar, due to the bad weather, but the crew was safe. That evening, Gomu married the sea god in a ceremony with Bandu witness to it. She wore lots of green bangles in her wrists, the sign of fertility called Tsuda. After the ceremony, she banged one wrist on the shore, lining the seashore, and offered the new Chuda to the sea. She prayed again to take care of her husband in the future and keep her Saubhagya intact. Hence, the legend goes that Koli women have two husbands. One, the man she marries, and the other is the sea. Therefore, the tradition of wearing bangles only in one hand is followed by the Koli women. Hope you liked the story, and if you did, do subscribe to my channel, share the story, like and comment. Thank you.